Good morning, everybody. Good morning, good morning. Morning, Jeff, Asa, Stephen, Marek. Morning, everyone that was in the room this morning. So it looks like this long is now playing out, of course, as soon as I switch over from the room to the stream. All right, so we're getting that upside move now. Now that ES has stopped messing about. So we were looking for that drive up this morning if we couldn't get a breakdown. Very simple with the pathing this morning. We either need a failure, a breakdown underneath, a retest to get heavy. And as I warned the room, you cannot be shorting these lows. We've had a willingness of buyers to keep stepping in here. So you need to respect these levels. On the H1, what we're looking for is this move that we're getting right here. Coming up, testing now, old point of control. This leaves the door open now for a pullback and a breakout of this net level and so forth, continuation for upside to come and fill this gap. That is a potential move today. Alternatively, we can just rotate into this upside right here where we keep finding sellers and either reject it or failed breakout and come back inside the range. So those are the two plays today we're now looking at. All right, we're now looking at. I would have loved to have had this long for the upside. I was talking about it in the room, this upside move, if it does a failed breakout, if it can't break the lows. The only thing that stopped me pulling the trigger on this long, right, you can see I marked it out for the room, nice flags, holding momentum for upside. We had the gap fill and we have bigger targets above. The only thing that stopped me was the ES. Okay, unfortunately, the ES was playing games this morning. The ES was making fresh lows while the NQ was basing at the highs, and that had me absolutely spooked. Watching the Mag 7, that made no sense. I said to the room, we need alignment. At the same time, VIX was pressing up into 20, but just as I've come over into stream, VIX has rejected straight through 20, pulled back inside to 1977, and the ES found its bottom and absolutely ripped off that low only a few minutes ago. It's now up 12 points on that move, and that's really helping this press higher with these bull flags to go higher on the NQ. So unfortunately I missed these. I was really waiting for it to set up. Maybe if I hadn't moved over at that perfect timing again, I would have got it. Hopefully some of you who are in the Discord with me this morning got that move up. Once we got confirmation of the ES putting in the bottom, we had that press up. So you have more news hitting the wire now in just over a minute. So if you're in a position, just be aware of that. You have news hitting the wire in about 1 minute. Looking for upside targets here, we're starting to come into the Asia range. So if we just go to a 5 minute, you can see this here. We're starting to complete the cup. Okay, back into the top side of the Asia range. The question will simply be, can we create a handle, breakout, flip some of this supply into demand for a press higher, or are we simply going to keep rotating over and over and over again? Remember, on the hourly chart, we have 1, 2, 3. This is the third day inside this balanced range. So these are your edges of the range. This is where we've found sellers, this is where we found buyers. Okay, you cannot be buying up here into this move. If we break out, retest and hold, you can be a buyer. If we break out or break down, retest and hold, you can be a seller. You do not want to get caught playing the edge of the range for continuation. It's a very easy way to get absolutely slapped. All right, so if you're buying the highs up here, not respecting that sellers have been here, it's a very easy way to be buying the high of the day and get caught in it. Good morning, Candy Kane. Good morning, Ray. Good morning, Glenn. Good morning, Alonso. Is the light on me okay today? I've turned the lamp down a bit because it was a bit bright in my eyes. It was starting to really cause me some pain. So hopefully it's bright enough. Good morning, Frank. Good morning, everyone joining the stream. If you're new here, please hit that like and subscribe button. Lots of you regulars in here now. Lots of you guys doing the course. Good morning, Chris. Those of you new, if you want to learn how to use the flow zones that we're looking at in this chart, if you want to learn to trade with me, the course is still on sale right now with code YouTube. All right, one-time fee, 20-hour course. You get the indicators for free with it and access into my Discord, all for a one-time fee of $399. So I'm just looking at the book, seeing what we have upside now. We just had a seller come on the book now. Is he going to get pumped out? right at 62, so they're looking to take him out for upside pressure. Above that, we have a big seller of 131 contracts. He is sat at 20,250, so a long way up. So we have a 200-point move here based on that. Where would that take us up to? That would be a full gap fill from that imbalance that we did on Monday, that huge H1 candle down. Was it Monday or Tuesday? Tuesday, sorry. We would have a huge gap fill into that. When I say gap, I'm talking about the imbalance or fair value gap, some of you might call it. Good morning, Mindful Matters. Morning, Ryan. Morning, everybody in the stream. Okay, so ES tapping its previous day close here. SPY actually has a little bit to go for a cash gap fill. NQ is well through its cash gap. NQ has filled those gaps. Morning, Michael. So far these longs are playing, all right? These longs for continuation are playing. I'm going to have to wait now that we've done a big move, see if there's some form of breakout retest around the Asia range. So where am I talking about? If I zoom this across a little bit. Into these levels here. Okay, so we're going to need to flip these levels right here. So good aggressive push into it. You'll see we're also coming into previous day high now and the 5-day. That blue squiggly line is your 5-day moving average. So a back test of the 5-day. We are now opening the door for a potential squeeze up into that huge fair value gap we have on the H1. So see how sellers came back in there for now, just short-term sellers, maybe some profit taking into that previous day high. So just watching this range, I don't want to get caught buying high of day here. So I'm just going to have to sit this out. Cannot FOMO into this. This was a really nice drive. It's a shame ES just couldn't set up the same pattern as NQ this morning and that VIX wouldn't play the ball. Otherwise, we would have been in here long over 100 points ago. It looks really good on the NQ for this move upside. Ryan, you were in Discord this morning. Now, maybe you can see what I mean about that H1 pivot. Now that we've pivoted above that down close candle, right at 975-ish, we've pivoted above. We're leaving a gap now for a potential pullback, or maybe we're just going to continue pumping higher, but it leaves opportunities for buyers to come in now that we've pivoted over the H1. Now we've made basically a W on the H1, but I don't want to be participating as a buyer right here into the top of the H1 range. Would ideally like some form of breakout retest or deep pullback. It might not give it. Might be that we've just missed the move today, unfortunately, with ES playing those games, but hopefully not. VIX coming into a gap fill now. Anyone that's watching VIX has a gap fill all the way down to 1890-ish. Can probably just call it 19. So it's fulfilling its gap fill duty right now. How frustrating, NQ, how frustrating. I literally couldn't have timed moving over from Discord to YouTube any worse today. As soon as I did it, the market got alignment. It is just the way, it is the way. Okay, so pumping now through previous day high. Really like to find a way to join this if possible. So far, every buying continuation, every flag is playing, but obviously there's going to be lots of liquidity where we're coming into. Remember, right here, red line, previous day high, 5-day moving average. So this could be a mean reversion back test here as well. I'm just a little bit aware of that. ES has a long way to go still. It's got to do a move into 73.25, I think, is previous day high to clear that liquidity. That's a strong push, and you've got Nvidia, Meta, and Microsoft all green now. Most opened red today. So you've got some red to green moves across the Mag 7. SPY coming into its gap fill now. So the ETFs have fulfilled their gap fill obligations. The question is now, can they go higher? Yes, Jerry, I know you're tracking that. I know that you're tracking that. Just another one to add to your back testing, isn't it, off the buy signal. So Jerry is currently testing, just placing buys and sells with my flow zone indicator. I think you have a very large success rate so far. I think you've back tested a year. Is that what you said in the chat yesterday? So you're just buying and selling based on the signal only, and it's paying out some nice winners for you. So we're a bit extended here from the flow zones, okay? So this is when I'm less interested in buying. I like playing pullbacks. I do not like buying for massive breakouts. If it goes without me, I just have to be okay with it. All right, I'm sticking to my rules. If you're a breakout buyer, that's fine. You do what suits you. If you're buying for this breakout through previous day high, that's absolutely fine. It's just not how I trade, all right? It's not how I trade. I'm always looking for value. I'm looking for pullbacks and areas where there's structure for me to get involved in. But you can see this is a really nice trend day now. Lower time frame, all right? Then the deep pullback, then the Momo cloud here, and eventually this lower time frame line will get above the higher time frame, and that's when we're potentially going to a complete pro trend where everything starts to align again. So tapping that 5-day moving average, all right? So there are high time frame traders who will trade Bollingers between 20-day, 2 standard deviation on the Bollingers and the 5-day. So they might be taking partials in these moves. If they've been scooping towards the 20-day, so we're now stuck between the 20-day and the 5-day. If we start to clear out through daily levels on the 5-day, we have lots more room for upside now that the Bollinger has started to trend upwards again. If you're wondering what I'm talking about, now that the daily Bollinger Bands have started to open up, we have room from the 20-day, 5-day. If we can get above this block, we have room for more upside towards the top Bollinger, which will take us back towards that all-time high supply block, all right? So it's all starting to make sense here. If this can be buying continuation, if this was just a pullback on the daily for a flag and go, plenty of room upside on a daily time frame. Here's the retest here, previous day high. So we've now basically flipped this block through that hourly block. We're looking for ways to get involved to the buy side here, but we don't want to buy too high. So that's all that I've got going through my head right now. ES has a little way to go, right? ES has not cleared supply. It's coming up to 5772, 5775. I'd say that's kind of a supply block. Maybe even 70, yeah, 70 up to 75. So ES not there yet, not there yet. Let's move you back. Sorry guys, left you on the wrong chart again. But momentum most definitely to the upside here. It's a really, really strong move. So basing above now, this has potential for squeeze up, basing above that previous day high. Would really like to be getting involved in a deeper pullback. Somewhere into these flow zones would be good. Somewhere around here, be a deeper pullback. Maybe they can catch up and base above. H1 can really pull back deep. That's the one thing that worries me. It can come back to 2050. It can even come back all the way back to 19,985. It's the only scary thing here with a big squeeze out, right? Because if this is a failed breakout on the H1 and it wants to trade back inside a range, that's going to be problematic. It's going to do a deep pullback. So ideally, it would just come back and hold like 20,050-ish. Really want it going too much deeper than that. ES approaching that supply block now, all right? Approaching 770. So ES is not through the equivalent of the grey box. All right, on ES is still underneath it. Just tapping on the door at that 5,770 ES. Can't get through it yet. Can we do some form of pullback to 50 or 60, right? Is it going to do something like this? Something that we can get involved in. Maybe the deep pullbacks catch up by then. Otherwise, if it's going to hold previous day high and flag, possibly an opportunity, but it is dangerous looking for trade location up here. Good location, probably down here somewhere in towards 50s. VIX almost completed that gap fill now. It's the low that it's printed there, 1917. I've got that gap fill down towards probably 19 or 1895. Here's the pullback that we were talking about. All right, that's why you must not chase the highs. Here's the pullback we talked about. And they're selling this very, very hard now. Like I said, if you looked at that H1, it was a big push up, and it can easily be a big pull down when they do that. Unfortunately, it makes it really, really hard to join in. Just slamming this now. This is the issue, isn't it? This is the issue. 5-day moving average, right? So good lesson for everyone, that 5-day moving average right there. So failed breakout yet again in the market, another failed breakout. So trading back inside range, dirty action. This is why you have to be very careful. You cannot be buying those tops. We just talked about it. Look how dirty that is now. So ES rejecting supply. Just hands off here. There's absolutely nothing to do here. You cannot be taking these trades. There was no short setup there. It was just a straight puke back. Bouncing now off the VWAP. I have very little conviction now on this. The sellers came in really hard there on ES, and the range is big. That was a 20-point drop there on ES almost instantly. And on NQ from that high, over 120 points, 130-point drop. So like I said, the reason we had thesis for that, look at the H1, where's it coming back tested, where we broke out from. So Ryan, you were asking about that this morning. This is the move I was talking about, coming back test this down close block on the H1, which is what it's just done. So the H1 can still technically be bullish here, but that short time frame momentum was very, very bearish to the downside. Very, very, very bearish. So do they trap and squeeze all the way back up now? Or do they just look for a bounce to resell into? Just going to be completely hands off here until this decides what it wants to do. I'm not willing to get trapped. If you look left on the H1, I'm not willing to get trapped in all of this range. All right, this is what it's doing. It's been doing it for 2 or 3 days now. I'm not really looking to get trapped in that range. Like we said all morning, it will either be breakout retest or it will be failed breakouts. We've been saying it the last few days. When you have ranges like this, if this is going to be the spring to go lower, it's going to be a very dirty trap, but it's definitely possible. I'd way prefer upside to reprice, but the ES today has been a real pain. If we start flipping this imbalance, I will think about getting long again if this is a big trap. Looks like a big trap and shakeout at the moment, but we'll not confirm that really until ES makes a new high and gets through supply. But it's a pretty big push off VWAP. Lovely. Can we flip this? If we flip this, this is potential long continuation. ES coming back into its intraday supply block. So are they going to fade this? Is this going to be the first bounce for a fade? For a fade back down? Or do they flip this whole imbalance? Trap shorts who came in late, same rules, all right? If shorts came in late down here and they want to trap them, they'll move it back upside. If they're just looking to reprice this structure, then you would be looking for a break of structure. But it is messy. It is messy because this down close happened so quick. Went against all the momentum that was building, but you had to understand the structure up here. Stuck at the 5-day moving average was absolutely key. Days like this can be very frustrating because you miss, well, if you're like me, you miss that move up because ES wouldn't align, and then you're waiting for the pullback and it does it really, really deep, and now we just have to wait to see if it traps or not. All right, so bullish pattern would need to be some form of W, ideally a reclaim or some form of inverse head and shoulder, all right? Otherwise, we're going to flip everything and we're going to dig down lower. With broken trend, if they're going to want to dig down lower, they will. VIX on that move closed the gap and then ripped instantly all the way back up towards high of day. I mean, this is a volatile market this morning. I don't think the market really knows what it wants to do right now, I'm going to be honest. I don't think we're building this range because it knows what it wants to do. The lack of alignment between ES and NQ the last few days kind of says that to me. They don't know if they need to start closing more positions. Tim Cook started selling this morning. Don't know if anyone saw that. Started selling his position in Apple, never a good look. So you just question, is it going to be major profit taking in tech? Job numbers again this morning, although weren't a big miss, they did point towards inflationary pressure yet again. Yes, Alonso, pretty much exactly what you're saying. Yeah, there's a supply sort of from 70 to 75-ish. Remember, 800 is that key level on ES. you get through 75, then you're looking at that move towards 83. If you can get through that, you're looking for a move towards 800. You look at the low wick that it did on Tuesday towards 800, and if you get through that, all the way up to 822. I must say I'm really not enjoying price action the last few days. Today might be poor as well with NFP tomorrow. Really bad price action in terms of alignment. Okay, so are they going to get break of structure for more downside now? Looks like sellers in control for now unless they can retrap. No trades for me so far today, unfortunately. Seems like a common theme right now for me. Did make some good money yesterday though. Got two winners yesterday. Yeah, I do not like ranges like this. When I see an H1 like this, I'm really just not interested at all. Because I know its job is to absolutely fuck everybody. So I have way less interest. I would much rather play when it's setting up pro trend. Right now, coming back and testing point of control. This is just so heavy after that push up to the top side. And it's a real shame that ES couldn't find alignment today, because we could have got this short and we could have got it long. So I really don't, the long doesn't look good for me anymore. This looks so heavy now. So is that going to be the Wyckoff spring? Are they going to let go of 740 on ES? If they do that, opens the door to far more downside. And we're going to come and test 25, and below that we have a mean reversion all the way to the 20-day. So classic 5-day, 20-day rotation. Trap, 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 create the liquidity. Eventually something will break. So trapped all the buyers today up into that 5-day once we broke out. No pullback hold. Right, this, you would have needed this to reprice all of this and get above it, which it failed to do. So now we're in clear downtrend territory, but if it wants to use this liquidity and trap later, maybe it can, but buyers would really have to show me something. For the short, you're talking about the Judas entry. Yeah, maybe on the ES, but let me have a look. I mean, it didn't give much of an entry. You would have had to go against that move and hope that you get the flush point. Maybe on that first pullback you can take it. Talking to your body bag there. Yeah, this looks heavy to me. Just where ES is dancing, this is a critical level. From here, can snap right down to 25. I really have no edge in this market right now. I kind of would prefer the whipsaws to finish, and then we see what we get. I'm quite happy to be short if we're going to let go of that demand level at the bottom, but right now we're back to middle of the range. We're sitting at right at point of control, right in the middle of the last 2-3 days range. So the trends I like are when everything aligns. So if we'd managed to get above here and retest this, or even if we'd retested this and get above, I would have been interested in the long. But this happened very, very quickly. Everyone's saying that this is a clear and obvious Judas, right? What are you risking against? Where is your short signal? There isn't much there, unless you are only ever playing reversals on liquidity sweeps. So you're counter trend and holding. That's fine if that's your play. Absolutely fine. Body bag, what are you looking at on? Originally you were saying ES. Do you mean off ES, or are you talking now about NQ? Yeah, so I'm looking at, I'm not really paying attention, but I mean, even that on the, no, no, the ES, that wick on that previous 15-minute is huge. What are you risking against? So you're taking a fell below previous candle high type stop. I mean, that's not a setup, man. Like, you can't take a setup because it's a trade comes below a previous candle high, in my opinion. Like, you're asking to get absolutely smoked. That's just guessing tops with your risk at the top rather than momentum shift. If it works for you, that's great. It's just not, for me, that is a death trap because you're going to lose that 90 times. You get paid out 10% of the time, and the other times you get hurt. It's literally guessing tops, that. Even with the liquidity, if you're saying the liquidity got swept, I understand what you're saying with the Judas swing, but it's, for me, that's death trap. That's fine. Like I said, if that's your setup, that's fine. But I know that setup. I know that setup from small caps. Any form of manipulation higher, you're just going to get your stop run most of the time. I would much rather wait for a trend. That's just how I play now. Might get a worse price, but so be it. So we just look very, very weak here. Very, very weak here. At 740 has been key on ES multiple times. If it lets go of it, it has a wash down to 25s. VIX now pushing high of day. And we have initial balance about to be set. Yeah, I understand that, body bag. I understand that. You get high RR when it goes your way. I get it. You've just got to be super disciplined with that stop if you're going to do it. So for now, bearish momentum. You're just expecting lower prices, maybe a reprice of all of this. Maybe we want to come and revisit into 90s and then the London low into 50. Oh. Would like to find a way to join this, but really don't want to play middle trend. ES looks like it really wants to snap that 40 and just wash. That's what I would say. So now stuck under VWAP on the NQ. See if ES really lets go of 40 here. Dancing right at point of control right now. Not particularly pretty, not particularly pretty. Can we get short continuation here if ES lets go? Or is it just going to do the same game over and over again? Hunt liquidity, create liquidity over and over again, which seems to be the name of the game for ES today. ES is definitely making it far, far more tricky because it won't let go of 40 and it couldn't get through supply. And this morning it was completely out of sync with NQ. You have VIX making new high of day right now, and the NQ trying to push up. I mean, this really sums up a market that I'm not interested in trading. This pretty much sums it up for me. When we have lack of alignment like this, again, there you go. ES now reclaiming 740 after washing it. This is dirty, dirty moves in the market. I am not playing this market at all until it gives me clear indication that it's going to set up pro trend. We are in the middle of the range. It's going to do its best job of hurting everybody playing this right now. And these are markets which I will not participate in. I know how easy it is to lose money in these markets. When you see moves like this, there's no short setup there. They reprice, they go lower, and now they're failing to go lower here, and ES is doing a dance at a critical level. I'm far, far less interested in playing this game. There you go. Reclaim of 40, now up to 45. Now NQ trying to get going and retest into VWAP. This is because we are dancing at that point of control on that back test on the H1. This is not easy action, guys. Anyone who thinks this is easy is lying to you. Right, this is not easy action. When you see this on an H1 chart, this is not easy action. And there you go, there's the upside. Absolute insanity. So if they've retrapped again at that 740 on the ES, we're going to see a new trap to try another attempt at supply. This is what I mean by when you don't have a pro trend, it gets very tricky. It's got nothing to do with the 10-minute chart, all right, on ES. You need to look at 740 as a level for the last 3 days. That's the edge of its balanced range where buyers have stepped in. They wanted to trap into 740. It's got nothing to do with the lower time frame charts. You need to zoom out and use the higher time frame charts and see where they have wanted to trap over and over and over again. So do we do a W now and reprice? All right, is this the trap here for a W and a reprice? That's the new question. Or is this relief? You now need to see pullbacks hold into and around VWAP, maybe from 93 into VWAP. Not much liquidity on the book right now. There's upside towards 75s if they want to drag it up there, not much below. There is actually a big order at 887. See if we can flag and go here now for a reprice, or if they need to take it lower, but it's very volatile. All right, look at VIX. VIX just failed the high of day again, trading back inside. All right, this feels like a lot of positioning and hedging into NFP to me. These are not high probability moves. Here's the pullback we were talking about. Can they hold this range into VWAP? Still no trade for me. Is quite possibly is going to be a no trade day for me, just based on the aggression of each move and a lack of alignment looking at the H1. Into VWAP again. Are they going to fail this level? ES below VWAP. They're having fun today, man. So can they pivot here is the question, all right? If this was a manipulation, which I'm not convinced about, but potentially, can they pivot here? Or was this a push up to create a flag to go lower? There's nothing clear right now. My clouds are all stacked together right now. If I look at the H1, I've got very, very little edge, and the H1's always my guide. It's clear failed breakout on the H1 to the upside. And we've tapped the lower end of the previous two candles on the H1. I just don't have an edge here. Replying some people here. Lower prices coming unless it holds that imbalance, but very, very tricky. Like I said, I've got no interest right now. Until we get multi-time frame alignment, I'm not interested. It's the best way for me to stay safe. VIX holding 20s. When VIX is holding this high, it's going to be very, very tricky. Thinking about a longs here is very, very tricky. You're literally mid of IB, and if you zoom out right now, you're mid of this range and you're mid of the H1 range. So what are you targeting? Okay, you're targeting the lows, but you need ES to let go of 740 and it hasn't. If you're targeting the highs, you need reclaims of key levels and we haven't done it yet. So it's really not easy. Everything to me just feels like a trap right now. Yes, back to VWAP. It would be nice if we got some pro trend action. We've spent 3 days down here now. It just would be nice if we got something in a pro trend for me. Happy to not trade today. If it does not offer it, that's absolutely fine. So failing this level now, unless it's going to hold a fib, again, that would be very, very dirty. What is that? ES is stuck under view up. All right, ES is stuck under view up. Momentum clouds are flat. You're trading inside initial balance. There is no pro trend here. You're trading edges until it proves otherwise based on initial balance rules, and you're sitting right at the point of control. And this is also the point of control from Tuesday. Lots of volume built up in these areas. It will be a push and pull until something clearly lets go. Back to that 740 again on ES. I'm thinking about short continuation here. Here we go. Can I get it? There we go. Snagged some short continuation there. Just for a snap trade down. Respecting initial balance, so partial off into that now. Any reclaim of 40, I'll take absolutely all of it off. Taking more off there. If we get heaviness in the market here on ES, we would need to reject that IB low. We can trade down to 26. This is a battle zone. I cannot explain this enough. This is a huge, huge battle zone in the market. Any reclaim of initial balance, you know the score. So I'm watching ES because that's the key driver today. Tech's heavy other than Nvidia. All right, all of tech is red other than Nvidia. Strong 5-minute candle there from ES. 1 minute left on it. Want to see how it closes. So retest of IBL here. VIX new high of day, 2050 breakout now. New high of day there on the VIX. Every time it's got up here so far, it's rejected. If they're going to wash this, then the VIX is going to have to continue and sustained auction higher. If they really want to wash this market lower. If it keeps failing, we're going to keep chopping inside the initial balance range. Right now, we traded all the way down to where we found buyers in London. So on a 5-minute, right here, you'll see this is where we found buyers in London, right, or just before the open, really pre-market open, New York really. But in this range, and this was the same buyers that we had all the way through London session, same range. So this is basically the 740 range, the equivalent of 740. So I'm hands off right now as we are sat right at that IB low. I don't want to get caught shorting low of day. We haven't broken out of it. Some of you have made good money today. Congratulations. Like, you've done really well. I got that one snap trade and that was it. That's all I got. Can VIX get a sustained auction upside? Reclaiming 740 again here on ES, all right? Reclaiming 740, reclaiming its initial balance. Cannot get sustained auction outside of the initial balance. So initial balance plays. That's great, Ryan. If you got one win, one loss and you're green, that's great. So here's the trap again. Underneath the lows, couldn't sustain auctions down. ES the same, couldn't stay underneath its IBL. Where's it going to trade to? Typical trade is back to VWAP. So ES now approaching its VWAP, NQ at the VWAP. We are in a standard initial balance trading range, okay? We are in a standard rotational day. We are inside the last previous 2 days range, and we're inside the current day's range of IB. So we're in a very compressed area here. This is why it's whipping around. It is doing this to trap traders. Honestly, it's exactly why it's doing it. It is trapping traders and it's going to exploit them, if not later today, for NFP tomorrow for sure. Feel like lost connection here on Ninja again. It's 2 days in a row now. Anyone else having that? 2 days in a row, my rhythmic. There we go, it's back. Very odd. Right, yours is fine. Yeah, it's 2 days in a row for me. Not really sure why. It's like through VWAP now on ES. All right, so it's just doing the dance over and over and over again. You lost connection as well, Caps, yeah. I haven't really had issues like that for a long time, and this week I've had 2 times where it's just lost connection by itself, but it's not my internet because everything else is running fine. It's really weird. So still chopping here, trapping and building liquidity. Morning, Scott. Morning, Scott. So if you're joining late, we're trading an inside day right now. Yet again, inside day, trapping and building liquidity. We got stuck at the 5-day. We failed to hold any bids at key levels. We traded down. We trapped under here, retested the top side. We're going to now build liquidity here until it's ready to drop underneath and dig lower prices, or build back up and do this whole move back upside if it's trapped enough shorts. I have no idea what their game plan is right now. And the reason I'm saying that is there's no indication right now, looking at the H1, what they want to do. All right, looking at this, there's no indication. Yes, I would say this is a failed breakout of the upside. Definitely. They tried to break out. They couldn't hold a sustained bids to come and rebalance this. But this has been a weak move today for the move down. Weakness in the market. So maybe they need to trap more shorts for an upside move to swing back up. Exactly, Alonso. We're inside the house and we run free outside the house. That's exactly it. That's exactly it. They're just building liquidity inside range. Imagine you were a swing trader the last 2 or 3 days. You would be very, very frustrated. Looks like someone lifts. Who, me? Yeah, I'm putting on quite a bit of size right now, if that's what you're talking about. I actually weighed myself yesterday, sitting at 210 now. But I am 6'2", or just under 6'1" and a bit. What I'm noticing is my running is slowing down a lot. My 5K splits are way slower as I start to lift heavier. So I don't think I want to go much heavier. And I'm old and my back hurts. Okay, so can it use this liquidity? All right, this is really tricky, but it's trying to build liquidity. All right, so this is the trap under here. Can it build this liquidity for like a quasi type move for a run up? This is where it gets tricky. That's intraday supply 1. This is intraday supply 2. This is outside of the hourly range. Gray is basically the top of the hourly range. Above gray is your failed breakout today. So maybe more upside squeeze here. Structure looks pretty good. 7 minutes until a new H1. The structure is looking pretty good here. I want to see this kind of level here hold. What I don't want to see is another failed breakout on a lower time frame. All right, if it's just going to do this to dig down again and come back down, I'm less interested. We are mid-range, really, really tricky mid-range, because you have your targets to the upper extremes and basically offering 1-to-1 on swing points. Mindful matters. Yeah, exactly. I experience that every day. Every single day. Five minutes until a new hourly candle. Look how gross this current hourly candle is. Huge wicks both sides. If we're going to get this all day, I'm probably going to have that one trade and that's going to be it. Would love to get a setup, a clean setup. Maybe after trapping all morning we get it this afternoon, but I just got a feeling they just want to use it for NFP. Yeah, capped. Yeah, I know. Well, I did spend the first up until my mid-20s playing rugby, so my back's pretty messed up from that. 129 seems a key level. Even on the M15, it keeps coming up, driving up, tagging it, pulling back from it. So maybe a flip of that. Maybe we get an upside auction. Until then, tricky to participate. I'm going to wait for a new hourly candle. For me, I'm going to wait 3.5 minutes. I'd rather wait for it. Oh, Scott, so your back's probably worse than mine then. You've got a few years on me. Hopefully you do lots of things like stretching and yoga and stuff. That's amazing, Capped. Yeah, it's really important. One of the most important things to be able to do is knowing when not to trade, when it's not setting up what you want to see. Which is what I've had to do today. I'm sure there's lots of people out there that make really good money from this market, but I know my strengths. My strengths are really good, strong, clear trending markets. Even topping markets where I can take clean reversals. This was all a little bit too quick and aggressive for me. I don't want to take the breakout short or the failed breakout short here into areas where it should be looking to hold. It came right the way down to view up though. Similar move yesterday, actually. We had a similar move yesterday where it dumped and it came all the way down to view up and then soaked off it. So we're playing extremes of the market right now. VIX is still holding its M10 flow zones. It can't break and hold above the initial balance high, but it's still basing at 2020. It's impressive. Makes me not want to pull any long triggers all the time I'm seeing that. So new hourly candle coming in 90 seconds now. Yeah, so you do lots of stretching and stuff, Scott. I tried to do yoga with my wife last night. It makes me laugh. She's a very good yoga instructor. And she was saying you should do it for your back. And I was saying to her, all it does is hurt my back. Yeah, rugby definitely adds a lot of years, mate. Most of my friends my age have retired now. Most of them went on to have very good careers. So this is a stronger sell close on the H1 now. Right now we're at point of control again. Back to the IB low. Are we going to snap down here? Do we get a snap down here? Yep, exactly. Failed auction, especially on the ES. Did it perfectly. So now we have to see it's retesting that IBL now. Do we get increased downside pressure? Or is this a manipulation on the hourly chart and then we're just going to trade straight back upside? The tricky thing is on the daily, right? If you look at the daily chart, the areas where we keep coming into. If we look at the daily chart, these areas here, all right, where we had sellers, right here. Old resistance effectively pushed us down, resistance again, flipped up, became demand, became demand, became demand. We're trying to see if they're going to still hold this. If they don't, it opens the gate for a bigger downside move. So new hourly candle here. Make sure you're on the right charts. Now trading underneath point of control. ES right at that IBL, underneath that 40 level that we keep talking about as being key. Can we get sustained auction downside, or is it just going to trap the same level over and over again? This would be the third day of trapping the same level over and over again if it does it. Yeah, if you don't do anything, it just, yeah, totally. It just gets worse. My back gets worse and worse every day. So more chop at the same levels over and over and over again. More chop. For me, I'd love to see a clear move here, like a clear move down, even if it then wants to trade back inside later, but a bigger move down just to wash everyone out the market rather than just building and building and building and building and building. A bigger move down here will open the gate, not just for downside, it will also open the gate for potential upside later. All the time we're just trading in here, it's very difficult to participate. So ES testing at same level now, looking to extend range. Can it extend range? Ryan, needling to the back, I find gives me great relief. Oh, dry needling, yeah. Turn this up a bit, there we go. It looks like it wants to break down, right? It looks like it wants to break down, but I've just got to remember this is the trap level. But this does look like it wants to break down and come and retest this. But do I have confidence in it when my flow zones are all flat like this? Not really. Not really. VIX pushing high of day now, 2050. All right, really up here, we should be seeing downside pressure on the market, and we're not really seeing it. Diana Bowl will fix the back pain, yeah. Also, give me some bitch tits. I need to get a scavenger if I take that, eh? Otherwise, I'm going to have start looking pretty big and bloated on stream. Here we go. Can we get downside pressure here? I'm interested in this if we can get downside pressure. I want ES to make a new low with conviction. Otherwise, we are in the same trap range over and over and over and over again. Every single move, they're coming in trying to soak it. Here's the breakout on the VIX. So it's upside pressure on VIX. We should see downside pressure coming into this market for this bear flag breakdown. But again, we'll repeat, this is an area where buyers keep showing up. Not just today, the last few days. There is some buyers on the tape. Down at 87, down at 75. And there's another big lot down at 19,800. You see how unwilling it is to go lower. This should be an easy move lower given where the VIX is, and it isn't. Market really should not be struggling to go low when the VIX is trading up like this. So it just, even this morning, those in the Discord, I said to you, I smell a rat here. It doesn't feel good. Doesn't look good. There we go. Unwillingness to move lower yet again. Trapping same level over and over and over again without any decent move. Didn't even sweep that time. ES retesting, now back testing into that 740 key level. So if sellers come in here, maybe we get the move, but if they reclaim it like they just did, we're probably going to get an upside squeeze. And this for me is proof that I will not be participating in this market at all today. I have zero interest in participating in this market. Why would I want to participate in a market that is doing this? This is death, right? I want to participate in a market which is nice and obvious. Even downside, fine. Give me a nice trend day down. We've not even tested extremes here. So failed breakout of the IBL, back to VWAP again. Just barcodes, yeah, Frank, exactly. It's just barcoding with decent range though, right? These are 100-point ranges between these swing points. More Middle East news coming out. Let me just check this. Just hit the wire. Bond news. Are they going to reject this now? This is interesting now. If that rebalance was enough to go low, I'd be interested. Where's that news? I just see it hit our Discord. It's more to do with oil. Escalation conflicts are heightening risks of uncertainty and ramifications economically. Fed acting in an appropriate manner. Japan fiscal policy growth friendly. We just had some 3-year notes. Frank looks weak on the 1 hour. Yeah, I mean, yes, but agreed, failed breakout. The problem is like beyond the 1 hour, right? The problem is, where are we just trading into? For me, there's better trades. If we snap this, okay, even if we then reclaim, I know that all the longs are out the market and then we can go upside, or we just continue downside. But the problem is where we've just sat at, this range here is just building liquidity, right? And it's either going to do this or this or this. But once we're in here and we're stuck in here, there's basically a lack of edge on which direction it's going to go. On the hourly, I would have loved to have seen it reprice some of this structure in here, right? Or the lack of structure in here. It would have been nice to see it drive back in there. Alternatively, to come back to the downside and prove itself that it wants to go lower. maybe it can still have that move lower. The thing is that ES is trading inside initial balance. So maybe, but it would have to do this. The problem is it's pivoting over this now. For me, this doesn't look like anything. Like, that's ugly. Pivoting over this is ugly. If it pivots over this, it's going to come back for these equal highs upside. It can equally, if it has some downside pressure, can wash, but why haven't we washed when VIX is breaking out? That's the question. That's why I'm saying, like, it feels like market makers are just playing games today before NFP. Because high probability moves should have been downside pressure when the VIX broke out. The VIX went all the way up to 2060. We're not trading in 15s. We're not trading in areas where we should just be slowly going sideways or consolidating. We're trading in a market where we should have downside pressure, but it's not coming because higher time frame traders are soaking the same levels. So you've got low time frame traders trying to force the market down and high time frame traders saying, no, we're not going lower right now. And that is the market where it becomes difficult. The easy market is when higher time frame traders and lower time frame traders are in agreement on what they want to happen. Now trading back inside of initial balance on the ES. That 40 is key and really just as an area, but it's pretty key. That's pretty much the IB low. They let go of it again. You would need to see clear directional moves. So far, every time it's ducked under the IBL, we've soaked back inside. I'm happy to sit here for another 50 minutes with you guys. I'm also happy to go if none of you guys are interested in the market. I'm not seeing anything right now I love. That might change. Downside move will change it. Maybe it's coming now. Downside move will change it. Upside move, base above, will change it. Anything inside all of this range, no bueno. You want me to stay? All right. I just wonder if, like, sometimes it might be frustrating because I'm not taking anything. Most days on stream we get a nice trade together. Yesterday we got a nice trade together. We had to wait for it. Again, soaking off IBL again. And Bostic now talking. All right, so now you've got Fed speakers who love to be heard. They love to go on and on and on. You have to learn it's okay not to trade. Yeah, absolutely okay not to trade. Okay, so now you're going to have news algos watching for what Bostic says. That makes me laugh. He's saying the unemployment rate is shifted and it could be lower. That's amazing considering we had unemployment data this morning and it was higher than expected. So there's your first lie straight out the gate. VIX still basing, but now trading inside of its initial balance high, just about. Again, this looks, the lower time frame here makes me think it wants to come and take out the stops at the top of this range. Right here is where everyone's stops are at the top of this range. But we should not be thinking about that with the VIX up where it is. So this is a very unusual market today. It's not like usual market conditions, let's say. And the Mag 7's a real mixed bag. Meta, Nvidia green, everything else red. ES looks like it wants to go back to view up off the failed auction again. Oh, so boring, so boring. Man, financial juice is so far behind now. Does anyone else have that? The data feed into Discord has got to be about 3 or 4 minutes late now. Never used to be that bad. So ES came and tried to attempt a VWAP move, failed at VWAP. Feels like the volume's just starting to come out the market. I wonder if a big move might just come in with some injection soon as this volume starts to taper out. Definitely have stops up here and here. This is basically your range right now. Are they repricing? Shitty range to go lower and maybe retrap again? Or do they just want to run everyone out? I honestly have zero idea, which is why I'm not trading yet. When the flow zones are flat like this, we're in a clear liquidity build, and there's clear targets both sides. I do not know what it wants to do. We're dancing. Look at the dance between all these key levels, right? The algorithms are just dancing, building liquidity. Every single pull down is soaked. Every single push up has been slammed. They're just trap, 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 trap. Green for the day. Good work, Jeff. Good work. Anyone's green on the day has done really good. I got one snap trade short. That was it. That's literally all I've got so far. This is really, really ugly, ugly action. Really ugly action. Now they're going to go for those stop highs, if they can. If ES can get through VWAP. issue is this liquidity trend. So they now know that they've built liquidity on this trend. So do they want to sweep? They're going to have to sweep one side before they get the other. The question is, are they going for these guys or these guys? And with momentum, lower time frame, VWAP, you've got no real indication of what, in my opinion, of what liquidity pool they want to hunt for. And there's not much on the book. Right, you've got 100 lot down at 887, another 100 odd lot down at 19,800. You've got some small upside targets, 50 lot at 20,000, and then another 50 odd lot at 20,050, and 100 lot at 20,200. Right, he was at 250 and he's moved it down. And in between that, not much. So I don't think many people are playing today, other than the institutions hedging and positioning for NFP tomorrow. Pretty typical of a day before NFP to be rubbish. I was hoping we'd have some nice moves today based on that 2-day range, but no good, no bueno, we didn't get it. So maybe we're going to test the top of this range now, which would be the top of that hourly candle. Again, same thing. It's just such crap. It's such bad action. Oh, what are you supposed to do with this? Yes, my wife is a Brit too. Yeah. Been together 13 years, met in London. Another VWAP test on the ES as we start tapering. Yeah, exactly, Hot Snap. London session was decent, and that seems to be a common theme recently. The overnight sessions have been decent. Nice trend off London. Failed the high, off that low, just bid right back up to the high. Really, really easy move to take. Look at New York session, it's just shite. All you have to do is zoom out on an M5. Look at the difference, nice easy trend, right, fail, scoop up, back to the high. Look, what is this? What is this? Not something I'm interested in. And normally I don't play NFP either, so we will have to see. So you hit your goal in the London session. Good work. Good work. Beer o'clock. Yeah, beer o'clock. If you're done and you made your money, get off. There's no point watching this. I'm only here for you guys on stream. There's nothing I want to do in this range. I know only too well that this is being built out to hurt people. The amount of times in my past that I would get in big trouble in this. ES now at VWAP. VIX trading back inside the IB, now at 20. If they're going to run this market now with the VIX basing up here, I will really laugh. That is going to be one of the most manipulated markets I've seen in some time if they're going to do that. And it would not surprise me. Smelt a rat all day long. Goodbye, Hot Snap Trader. Yeah, see you Monday. Hit the beach on NFP day. That's probably a very wise decision. Yeah, not playing NFP, enjoying your time. That's probably a very wise decision. So no close above VWAP on the 5-minute on ES yet. Bye, Frank. Catch you tomorrow. Good work if you avoided the chop today. Good work. Right. Lower time frame. Oh. Just choppy. All right. Choppy action. No clear trend. Just trapped in range. Always remember, you can look at your line chart. It can help you. Another failure of VWAP. So no 5-minute close above VWAP on the ES yet. Going back into 45s here. So they're going to come and retest 40 again. Yeah, Scott, like I can't make my mind up on what I think. Like it feels like it wants to go and snap the bottom of the range, but the fact that they keep trapping over and over and over makes me uncomfortable. But it should have done it. Look at the VIX, soaked off 20 again, now back at 2025. It should be snapping lows here. It shouldn't be hanging around, and that's what makes me uncomfortable. When you get a market that's not doing what it should be doing from a technical standpoint, you have to be a little bit cautious. Maybe now it's going to do it. Maybe it's just had to trap over and over and over and over and over, and we're going to get the move. So we can go and search this liquidity here, take out this lower time frame. Why isn't that drawn? What is going on? Yeah. Okay, something's up on my computer now. Can't even draw a line for you. Let's try that again. Liquidity trend line. If it can take this out, take some of these stops, it's got clear targets downside, if it can do it. Remember, all your flow zones are pretty much flat. And that 740, I cannot say it enough, that 740 is key on ES. That 740 is absolutely key. Or the IB low or lower day, all that area has to let go on ES because they've trapped there over and over and over again. So if they're just going to pull this back to soak it yet again and then go and run the highs, it's going to be hard to trade because there's clear liquidity up here of stops, and there's clear liquidity here, and there's clear liquidity here on that trend. And this is the issue. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. It cannot make its mind up what it wants to do. It didn't even get to 740 there, and it's soaked again. All right, so buyers are just stepping in there. Every single time it's anywhere near 740, they're soaking the bid. Even though the VIX then was well above 20, it was trading at 2025. So I smell a rat. I said it in Discord this morning. Something doesn't feel right with this market today. There's just no follow through, right? Really hard to trade a market with no follow through. See, now it looks very much like it wants to break upside and go for those stops. Lower time frame algo soak. Back to higher time frame algo. That looks like it wants to break to me for a push up to sweep those stops out into 2050. Don't think this could be uglier if it tried right now. Yeah, exactly, body bag. I actually posted that on Twitter recently. This is not a normal market the last 2 or 3 years. It will start to get into a much tighter point range. So these are the stops that we're talking about. VIX now under 20. Yeah, when you had to fund your own account, yeah, totally. Again, lack of continuation, hasn't taken those stops out. Is it going to trade further down first before it gets up to those stops? I want to see it run through 30s, trade up to 50s maybe. There we go. Feels like it's coming now. Come on, you got to do better than that, NQ. Just nothing. Oh, there's just nothing to trade or do. There's just no follow through. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that, body bag. I'm really sorry to hear that. So really, I'd like to see NQ trade over 30. All right, there's so much short stops built in here. I'd just like to see it pop through it and then see how it reacts. VIX now trading comfortably under 20, so can we get downside on VIX? ES now above the VWAP. What I don't trust is, will it just wash all the way back down? It can quite easily do it. It's done it over and over again today, hasn't it? Every single time we've come up here, we've washed down, come up, washed down, come up. Even now, we're pulling back down. So what are you risking off? How can you get involved? President Biden saying they're discussing Israel striking Iran's oil facilities. That's an hour old. I don't know why that's hitting the wire now. It's a great idea. Let's go and bomb the oil facilities to make price of oil go up even more for consumers. Fantastic. Fantastic. How to make sure inflation stays high. Bidenomics. It's fucking unbelievable. Ryan, if it takes the liquidity, is it likely to IB high, or is this just way on? Yeah, I'd say too unpredictable, my friend. Because to the left, right, if you think about drop, base, drop, liquidity built here. Next target will be the top of this supply. This is your like hourly supply that we got through. So potentially it might want to get all the way back. If we think about a fib from high of day to low of day, into and around this golden pocket. It might find some fib traders coming in and selling the market. There, for me, that just lacks an A+ setup, right? Just no follow through. VIX still trading downside now, 1984. Body bags, all good as part of navigating life's obstacles. Well, I just hope you're okay, my friend. That sounds like a tough time you had there at some point in your life. Never nice to hear anyone go through stuff like that. Yeah, I agree. Beast mode. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to see how the war might affect the election, to be quite honest, as well. No real strong comments from either party on what they're going to do. Same with Russia. Obviously, Trump sat down with Zelensky. Zelensky looked very uncomfortable. Trump basically saying he is going to ask more of Europe, ask for more money from them rather than it being so much US funded. Still not much on the tape here. This M5 level down into 20,000, maybe it can hold that, who knows? Who knows, my friends? There are never easy answers. Yeah, it's been going on forever. If you didn't know, I'm part Lebanese, so I have my own feelings on what's happened. Going into an independent sovereign state like Lebanon, I think, is totally wrong. If you replace many of the countries' names with Germany and Poland, you might feel very differently about this war. I think a lot of it could have been prevented, but this is all a bigger plan to control money. This is all about oil, leverage, gold, and the canals and distribution. Anything we're seeing in the media is all bullshit, to be honest. Yeah, totally agree, Kiwi. So many lives lost. Innocent people. It's all lies. Yeah, it's all lies. Absolutely, it's all right. So here's the bull flag for an extension. Can we pop these stops now? That's what I'm looking for. Beautiful move. In this now, looking for the extension through the stop, selling some partials into this move. Another one off there. I'm going to trim my position down to runners now. Stop, break even. Lovely. So finally got a move here for that bull flag extension through the stops. I had to wait patiently for that. Really patiently. So I've got one left. If it comes down and stops me out here at 25, that's fine. That's my break even on this move. Sold everything else into that push up. Nice, Kiwi, lovely. Right, so I'm literally holding one. There's nothing else. I can drag this across. I sold everything else on the extension. All right, just holding one in this now. A 25 point odd move for that extension up. No, stopped out. Break even on the other one. So made $700 odd on this account on these moves this morning. Well, it wasn't just on that move, so it was on 2 or 3 trades. But I scaled in, I think, 12 contracts there. Yeah, 12 on that, and a little more earlier on that flush move that I took earlier. A little more on that. Finally got something finally today. I had to wait around. Even then, not much follow through, is there? Like 20, I mean, maybe you got it earlier. I was slightly late on the trigger there. So my entry was at 25 and I sold all the way into 50 for that stop run. And I tried to hold runners, all right, and I started selling on the way back down because I just thought if they're going to roll this after the stop run into lunch, I don't really want to be sat in it. Yes, unknown caller, that's what I had. But that wasn't the only trade, all right, for that $700. That was just the second trade on it, on the day. I think I probably had a little bit of slippage. Yeah, out. That's not bad, Kiwi. We might still get upside here. If they want to complete the cup here, all right, if they want to complete the cup, maybe then we can get that later in the afternoon. We have to respect the fibs, right, from this IB high, which is the high of day. Oh, come on. I don't know why TradingView's lagging so much the last few days. All right, so we came into this golden pocket like we talked about. All right, the next stop run would be up here into 20,072. To be honest, if we do that, I expect us to take out high of day at that point. So maybe we get the completion of the cup. What is the one thing worrying me? We are in a channel, and this channel will have a clear amount of stops. None of these guys have been taken out yet. All right, so everyone who's been soaking all the way up, none of them have had their stops run. So really just got a couple scalps today. That's all I got. Stop runs both sides. So I think it was a short stop run here to take out this low and a long stop run here to take out the high. It's coming into a daily level here on both markets right now. Would be nice to see some form of follow through today, would be great, but so far just trading inside range. So see money, take money when it's there. It's just a flag set up for a sweep. All right, so we talked about how everyone's stops were here. All right here. So once we had that flag, we entered long, we took them out. You're welcome, Kiwi. Hopefully it's helpful. I won't always get it right. I won't always get every trade, but what I do is try and stick to my system as much as possible. Once we went trend multi-time frame bullish with a clear target, it gave me a chance to actually take something. I would have quite happily got short as well if we were down here looking for a rotation, but it just wouldn't come. So we just had to wait. I'm here 5 days a week, so all of you in stream who are new, please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. I promise you not every day is as boring as we've had this week. We've had some absolute bangers the last few weeks, but when the market's in consolidation, we have to respect that and be a little bit more cautious. You have to ask yourself, if you were a swing trader, would you be trading right now? The answer is no, which means most money is on the sidelines right now. All right, most money's on the sidelines right now. You've got intraday moves, and that is it. There's nothing here where higher time frame traders are really participating. Possibly they were soaking the lows at that 740 for a rotation back up to all-time highs on ES. Possibly. We'll find out tomorrow and next week. Yeah, mainly what I'm trying to trade is momentum as well, but I really like alignment. All right, I like it when the market is trying to move the same direction across multiple time frames. So we're back into that key level now, an old point of control, the old top of the hourlies. All right, so in the hourlies, we're coming into this old supply range, which we did poke through this morning, but we failed to sustain bids above it. All right, so the easiest bullish move will be if we sustain bids above here, because we will turn this into demand. So far, they're all comfortable because they shorted the market all the way back down for a rotation. So if we break out, pull back and hold, which will effectively be on a lower time frame, will be this, break out, pull back and hold, then we can think about a long. If we keep rejecting up here in these golden pockets on a fib, it is quite possible it will want to come and wash some of these stops. Remember, we've got trend line liquidity. This is why it's difficult today. Lots of people with different opinions fighting against each other. You have a new hourly candle coming in 10 minutes. For now, short-term trend looks like upside. Looks like it wants to come back up into these areas. This level right here will become key. 72, might as well call it 75. So 60 into 75. We run through that, we're probably going to take out high of day. There's a double top up here, which looks pretty clean. We have the 5-day moving average, initial balance high. That'll be a rotation from IB low to VWAP, from VWAP to IB high. Not untypical. All right, you're going to have to excuse me. I need the toilet. I will be right back. There we go, sorry, put the mic on. Still continued upside. Let's close these. Haven't got that glare. Upside pressure coming as the VIX continues to drop down. So if you manage to hold a runner here, think about some partials into these levels, hold the runners, the last few runners, for a potential rotation all the way up. So all the way up would be ideal. But here we are coming into some levels of intraday supply. You can also see it on the H1 from the last few days. All right, so look left, respect what you're seeing in front of you. Slow day here. Slow day here. If you want to learn to trade like this, if you want this indicator right now, information's above, one-time fee, click the link below, use the code. But that code will not last forever. I'll be closing the sale down probably next month. And prices will be going up next year for sure. We've got a nice community. I'm in there from early. I think I was posting before the newsprint this morning. And we had a good chat for half an hour before we came on stream. And then I continue to provide information throughout the day when we're coming into key levels. So if you're interested, click that link. If you go on flowzonetrader.com and click all the way through, it will take you to Teachable. You'll be able to see every single module, every single class, and the length of those classes. So you'll know you're not getting conned with a crappy lesson. It's 20 hours. It's very, very in-depth. I love teaching. I love helping you guys. I actually way prefer it to trading. I find it much more rewarding to help students start their path. So QQQ into that old supply we were talking about. NQ approaching it. SPY still in its gap. All right, it did do a gap fill this morning where it failed off. It's kind of trading into that gap. So the SPY basically needs to trade into 69.50, 569.50. Beast mode. Are you correct in thinking I do not scout per? What do you mean per SE? Per session? Let me know what you mean. Let's sort this out. I've got a load of bleed coming through. Per se. I think it depends what people call a scalp, right? So I love going for 30, 40, 50, 100 points, 200 point moves. I don't really love going for those 10, 20 pointers. So I like good RR. Because I think on NQ, realistically, you've probably got to risk, most of the time you're risking 20 odd points. And I want multiple R. So like today, I didn't really get a position to do that. Like the problem was with this move here, when we were talking about earlier, all right, if we're repricing to go lower, was the risk reward. Because if you're trading inside that, for example, off a fib, if we're going from the high to the low, and we're looking to participate in this range, if you're add all the way up, let's just do a short. If you're add all the way up, you've got to risk so much to that high. If you're starting to take the breakdown here, I guess it's a little bit better. Risking that high. And you would have been looking for break of structure. It's actually quite good. Maybe I missed that one. That's actually a 3R. That's not bad. That is not a bad trade. But that's probably the only one this morning that's offered really amazing RR. But yeah, I'm not looking for 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 points. I will take it. Like on here, obviously I'm obeying structure. Like here, if it's a momentum play and I know we're just looking to sweep liquidity, I'm selling into that push because I know there's just as much chance that once it's done, it fails. but I want to try and hold runners for as long as possible. My best days are when I'm able to get in a pro trend and I'm holding a position or holding a runner for hours. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine, beast mode. If you've got a setup that you like which offers 5 to 10 points and you can just rinse repeat that all day, that's great. There's nothing wrong with doing that. So coming into lunchtime, sorry, just texting. Coming into lunchtime, just over a minute until you get that new hourly bar. All right, so the last 3 hours, not much interesting in these hourly bars unless we start pivoting up. Any questions here, team? So remember, we've got a liquidity trend here. It might want to come and take some of these stops out. It might want to fail the fib and rotate all the way back down. Most pushes today have failed, have come back inside the range again. So we're testing that old point of control, yesterday's point of control, right into 50. The value area high of Wednesday and Tuesday is basically up to around 70. Yeah, around 70. So this is the top of the balanced range so far for Tuesday, Wednesday. We extended that range today, but it was a failed auction. That push up this morning, value area high on the day currently is sitting at around 20,010, 20,015 odd. So here's the new H1 bar. So you want to see now, do they pull back here and soak off that value area high, somewhere around that, off the H1 candles that came before it, off 27, and then extend higher? Or do they just roll back into range through lunch and we're done for the day? Is that going to be the end of the day? Just leave it based inside for tomorrow. Very, very possible. I'll give it a few more minutes and then probably likely to go. That's probably it for me today. A bit like yesterday, I actually ended up booking, because I traded across 2 accounts, $1,600, not bad. Yesterday similar, I made a little bit less yesterday. Not linking all my accounts at the moment on stream. You will notice I keep still doing it even though I've changed lots of my hotkeys. Keep pressing certain hotkeys when I'm trying to execute a trade or trying to change a hotkey on OBS, and it ends up affecting something. So I won't link all my accounts till I get that fixed. Thank you, body bag. Young fella, I'll take that kindly as I approach 40. Don't feel young, but I'll take it. So VIX now trading at midpoint, underneath 20, trading at 1975. All right, we're in the last few days supply on the QQQ. We're not quite there yet on the SPY. We tapped that gap fill on the SPY this morning. Anyone who hasn't watched the video on cash gaps that I did for free, it's an underwatched video on YouTube. Check it out. It will just help you see the cash gaps, cash imbalances. These are important when you're trading the ES, the YM, the NQ. Check the ETFs, okay? They're going to make it easier to see the cash gaps because it matters where cash traders and option traders are trading more than London and Asia. It's where the volume comes in. So SPY technically is red on the day versus yesterday, all right? Whereas the Qs are green. The Qs are through that cash gap. Give it another couple minutes and then I will leave. Any questions? Get them out now before I leave, gents and ladies. Ladies and gents. Or that's not very modern and woke of me, is it? People, there you go. People on stream. So pulling back into that range that we broke out from, watch the H1, watch the value area high, even on an M5, you're sort of looking at sort of 20,015 up to, what's the top here, 20,030. You want to see if buyers sort of come back in. If we think about where sellers were, the top of this range, right, sellers were here all day. This is where we broke out from. Remember, this is the long we took. Do buyers step back in this kind of range? That's the question I'd be asking myself. If not, then you might lose this liquidity and trade down again. Remember, liquidity trend line here. Easy to take the stops out of the people who joined late. That's literally the market's job. Not just today, every day. Its job is to make sure everyone loses, right? That's its job. So it's going to search for liquidity, take the stops out before continuing a lot of the time. The question is, how deep does it want to go on each move? All right, team, I think that's it for me. That will do. 2 trades. Managed to get some winners. Got very frustrated sitting here for probably the best part of 2 hours doing pretty much nothing, but unfortunately that's what the market dictated I had to do, so that's what I did. I will be back same time tomorrow, 10 o'clock. Those of you in the course in the Discord, I will talk to you once we get through lunch. We'll have a look and see what's setting up for the afternoon session, if anything. Those of you who I don't see, remember NFP is tomorrow. Your volatility is going to be up. You will have, if we don't break out of this range today, you will have a 3-day balanced range. You've got compression like this in the market. NFP, by all accounts, can destroy both sides of that, right? Might not want to, might just want to do one side, but I would not be surprised if NFP destroys both sides of that. So bear that in mind tomorrow when you're trading. You can size down tomorrow. The volatility is likely to be high. Don't end your week on a Friday with some horrible losing trades and horrible losing days. All right, just size down. If you need help with anything, check out my YouTube, come and do the course, join the team. I'll be back same time tomorrow. Trade safe. Use hard stops, right? Use hard stops. Peace out.